Happy Tuesday to you. I am not going to be on long, but obviously, some people are spazzing out that Joe Biden pardoned his drug or former drug addicted son. And people have a lot of comments about it. Some people on the left side, they're kind of looking at this as a way to throw shade on Trump. Like, how can Trump talk about pardoning Biden when, I think some people put out that Trump might have pardoned Jared Kushner. So, you know, I look at the game of politics and I think that people are expecting for people to operate with a level of integrity that is just impossible for some of these people to have. They are schemers, they are scammers. Many of these people, they are out to look out for themselves or their own. Good morning, Brian. I see you. And so when I'm looking at Bart, first of all, I was waiting for Joe Biden to pardon Hunter. I figured that it would be something that he would do on his way out the door. I don't understand why people are just shocked about this. The writing was clearly on the wall that Biden was going to pardon his son. Now, I think for me personally, before anything shocks me, I have to go back and I have to look at the person who is doing the action. And when I look at Joe Biden, I just see an old, decrepit man who has spent his career as a politician and doing a lot of self-interest things. I don't see anything that Joe Biden has really done for this country outside of being an ass in a seat in different positions and ruin this country like the rest. And now that he's the sitting president with probably Alzheimer's and dementia, people propped him up so he can go out with some kind of blaze of glory. You know, I look at people like, Hunter as somebody who was bred by people who really didn't teach him any morality. It is clear by the way that Hunter lived his life that his dad has been shielding him from accountability his entire life. And so, my thing is, when you look at a Hunter Biden versus his brother Beau Biden, right, there is an obvious failure there. Maybe somebody was too busy to pay attention to this needy ass child, so he just been acting out his whole damn life. And Joe Biden obviously taking the guilty card. I wasn't there for my son, so now I have to make things better for him when he screws up. And I think that's how Hunter has learned to play his dad. Hunter knows he can get into probably almost anything illegal or whatever, and he knows that his dad is going to figure out a way to protect him from the accountability. But this is not just a Hunter Biden thing. You look at within that Washington elite swamp, and you're going to see a lot of people's kids hooked up just like this. Some of their kids have murdered people in car accidents, and they walk in their ass free, living their lives. Some of these people have violated, and some of these people's kids have violated and assaulted people, and yet they've had enough money to pay that person off, silence them so that their kid cannot be accountable for their actions. I think that everybody in society needs to just come to terms with the fact that there are rules for us and there's rules for them. And the rules for us is always going to create damaging effects for our lives, trickle down effects into our families' lives. For them, they're going to be able to walk around scot-free, clear of any type of consequences because the rules don't really apply to them. And you know this for sure because they're going after all these, desperate people with these PPP loans, right? But Sam Bankman-Fried is not in jail, right? And it's so funny that some of these people devastate way more people than some of these small fry criminals will ever devastate them. And yet they're walking around with their privilege scot free. And so I look at Hunter Biden as a reflection of the failures of his father. He is the reflection of the failures of his father. And obviously, Joe Biden doesn't have a lot of integrity. He's a double talking demon, it seems, like all the rest of them. So when he tells Americans that he's going to respect the law, he's going to do this, he's just telling us what we want to hear. He's telling his base what they want to hear. That's basically what they're doing. But all the while, Joe Biden knew he wasn't going to let his son do any type of jail time or anything like that because Hunter obviously would not be safe. But, you know, the rationality, people's opinions like, well, that's his son. That's his son. And, I've actually thought about this. I actually take myself in so many different scenarios. I love my children dearly. I train them. I teach them. I love them dearly. I do my due diligence as a parent, to steer them in the right direction, right? But if my kid does something wrong, one thing I don't allow is for them not to take accountability. So my 10-year-old daughter, she's as sweet as apple pie, right? But she has learned to weaponize her tears when she does not want to be accountable. I catch it and I make her conscious of it right away. And I tell her, you were wrong. And I reiterate where she was wrong. You are not going to weaponize your tears. So if you're not going to see some technology, you're not going to have fun, you're not going to do a play date, I mean it. I really mean it. Because unfortunately, we're not rich elite people. And so when my kids go out into this world, they're going to actually see the accountabilities of their actions. They're not a Hunter Biden. They're not any of these elite kids who are running around pathetic people with zero accountability because their parents, that's the only way that they can show that they're down for their kids because they ain't teaching them shit. People always talk about rich people teach their kids whatever, whatever. No, they don't. Rich people don't teach their kids shit, most of them. Their kids are running around with supremacy and entitlement to just be dumb, many of them. And so Hunter Biden had a license to be dumb because he had the protection and shield of his daddy, who was probably equally as crooked. And he probably leveraged Hunter, and I'm saying probably because I don't know definitively, but if I could imagine, Bo was his star child. He was a star child because he had one child that was probably on the straight and narrow. All the while you have Hunter's ass who was like the rogue. And I believe that Joe Biden leveraged his rogue son. Right? I really do believe that he had no choice but to protect Hunter because he enabled a lot of stuff that Hunter did. Right? And you can tell that this is beyond whatever the charges that they put against him because of how they are framing this pardoning, right? They're basically absolving him of anything. So Burisma, those Ukrainian investigations, him sitting on the board of an oil company, he didn't know the language. He didn't even know what the hell he was doing, but yet he was getting hooked up. And Joe Biden lied and said that he didn't know that his son was involved with that company. BS. I mean, there's so many meetings. But this is how America works. It's a truly corrupt nation. And I don't care if it were my kid, if Hunter, like the thing is, like I said, I love my children, but I think about as they grow up and they become people in society. And if I was a ruler, and I said, okay, these are the rules that make sense for our society to function, right? I've actually taken it there in my brain. If I were a ruler, if I were a queen of a nation, and let's just say my son grew up and he created an egregious act against a woman, And the laws of my land say that any man that violates a woman to extreme degrees, they are to be put to death immediately in my kingdom. I would have to set an example to my kingdom by putting my son to death. I could not have respect as a leader if I compromised the mandates and the laws of the land of my kingdom, for even my children. But yet these people with no integrity, some of them, are running around. That was his son. If that was your kid, you would do it too, right? Remember that Satan was once God's child, and there is an intention to destroy him completely in the future, just like all the wicked people that follow him. But that is just to say that a parent's love does have limits. I would mourn my son, but I would mourn him for the poor decision that he made, for going against my words and my wisdom. And this is why the Bible tells children to listen to the wisdom of your parents, that it may go well with you, right? But if you want to go out there being rebellious against the common sense of your elders and what they have instructed you to do, you deserve to deal with every single consequence. And we live in this culture where some parents have this irrational mindset that that is my child. I can't betray your child. When your child gets to the age of reason and they go out here embarrassing your family and you in the street, there is no loyalty to that kid. There is no loyalty to that kid, because final destination is going to be destruction from God anyways. So that kid is going to be dead to you in so many different ways. If they're out here doing wicked shit against humanity, you have to be a wicked ass person to even make excuses for it. Oh, he had a drug problem. Hunter was dealing, man, it's a lot of people dealing with drug problems. And they catch cases like Hunter Biden all the time. And they asses actually do jail time with the damn drug problem and all. So, this is the world that we live in. This is the nation that we live in. You have some people who act like they're so virtuous. They're so virtuous. They're so high esteemed. Yeah, but they have zero integrity. They have zero integrity. So let me get to my comments and then I got to jump off. But it's just a shame. And I wanted to play this part. Abba and Preach were talking about this tourist this rich white kid who went over to the poorest part of the Philippines and decided that he was going to blog among all those poor people. And what's going on with him? He got shot and kidnapped. Should we feel bad for this guy? No. His parents obviously enabled this. Hopefully they red flagged it. But honestly, whatever happens to your kid doing dumb shit is really their fault. And this is why I always raise the consciousness of my children. Like my son, he's 7, he'll be 7. He thinks he's Spider-Man. He thinks he's all these dudes. He got bunk bad. So this dude is just wild as hell, right? But sometimes I got to give my son the school of hard knocks. And I'm like, look, you want to do that? Fine. You could break your neck. You could kill yourself. And I'll even scare his ass straight by going on YouTube and looking up little pictures or videos of kids with lifelong disabilities. And I'll say, hey, do you want to end up like this kid? And he'll rethink it, right? I can't stop my son. He's the wildest kid I have. I can't stop him from not hurting himself. It would be a task all day. He's a wild little boy, right? And I want him to have a normal male risk adversity. So I don't want him running around with bitch-like behaviors and scared of everything. So there's a divine balance there of my protection of him, but also letting him, like my son, he doesn't really, like, if he makes a jump and it hurts him really bad, Like for him, it was like, I calibrated the jump wrong. I can do it again. I just got to recalibrate. It's like, no, 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 no. Why don't you just not do the jump at all? But like in his brain, that's something that is he wants to do. And so it's crazy. But that's just to say that when my son does little stupid shit with his friends, like I'll say, hey, don't go by the swings. Always be cautious by the swings. Next thing I know, him and his stupid little friends got a chair in front of the swing, seeing which one of them can dodge the swinging person from hitting them. I'm like, what the? And so I'm looking at this, and next thing you know, I kid you not, I look around just to see what he's doing, and he's like, hey, mommy. I'm like, why is your eye black? He was like, it is? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's not until later that, when I call his attention to it, then he's like, mommy, my eye hurts. I'm like, I wonder why. Like, and it's instead of me coddling him and saying, oh, mommy, baby, eye hurt, I'm like, why your stupid ass in front of a swing in a chair trying to dodge somebody from hitting you? Like, that's the dumbest shit ever. I don't understand what goes on in these little boys' head. But that is just to say that when my son does dumb shit, I let him sit in those consequences. I don't coddle him because he needs to learn. He needs to learn. And a lot of people aren't trying to teach their kids. So they're growing up to be Hunter Bidens, entitled to do all kinds of shitty shit, breaking the laws and all kinds of things. And they know that mommy and daddy are going to save them. They know that. So let me go to my comments, and then I'm going to get out of here. But I mean, it's just, I'm not shocked about Biden at all. This was very predictable. I kind of calculated that he would do it as he's walking out so that he doesn't stir the pot too much, right? Can't stir the pot too much, right? But acting like he respected the law and all that good jazz. But this was a pardoning in the making. And again, people want to say, oh, well, this person did that. This person did that. It's like, it's interesting to me how people draw their conclusions, especially these hyper political people, based off of what somebody else did. Well, Trump murdered somebody yesterday, so I don't see what the big deal is. I mean, I guess he can murder somebody too. You know what I mean? The childish rationality of some of these people is just repulsive to me. It's ridiculous. My kids, let me see, my kid wouldn't be in those situations. Hunter's issues are his own. Let me see, are his own and his parents' poor upbringing of Hunter. I agree with you, Mark. That's exactly what I'm saying. People aren't raising their kids. People are not raising their kids. And then they have the audacity to shield their kids from the accountabilities of their actions. It's insane to me. Good morning, Nick. I see you, my friend. Good morning, Micah. I see you. Let's see. Good morning, everybody. I see y'all. I see you from India. We see you. But I wouldn't put it past Joe to pardon himself. I agree with you. These people are so crooked. And I want to say that this pardoning of Hunter in lieu of Joe Biden acting like, I respect the law and we're going to just go with the judicial process and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, and then basically lying. That's what it is. He lied. He knew he was lying. He knew he was lying, right? But it's like the Democrats, it's sort of like coal in a already burning fire against that party, right? Like if I were a Democrat, I would shut the hell up about even commenting on this, right? Because y'all not already looking good. You got Kamala Harris, still pimping and hustling people for donations for, I guess, a future run. She looking stupid as hell, right? Somebody put Kamala Harris to rest, please. Give her about 12 drinks and just tell her, hey, no more of this. No more of this. You're going to hibernate and you're going to hydrate with this Patron. But she needs to just sit the hell down. And they need to stop putting her in front of people, because at this point, the Democratic donors are pissed off at her, right? I don't even know if they're puppeting her to be in front of people, but they need to stop. They need to stop. Just let that woman drink in peace. All right? Just let her drink in peace out of the public eye, right? But the Democrats are looking bad. It just makes them look even worse. Like, we already knew that all of these political parties were slimy and, no integrity or anything like that. But then the Democrats always like to level shit up, though. So this is just more coal in the fire to Democrats. They like, damn it, Biden. Damn it. But then some of them are like, that's his son. So we see how these people work. You said Kamala's time is over. I don't think she can let go or something. I'm like, how is it that we are still seeing this woman? Are they really going to try to prop this woman for 2028? Like, after all that money that they invested in her, trying to, and maybe their rationality is, well, in 2024, we didn't have enough time to get people to like Kamala, right? But then that sort of rush to get people to like people made people not like Kamala even more. So you might as well just shelf that candidate and find somebody new. I mean, I don't understand why the Democrats are obsessed with the Kamala card, right? It's insane to me. Is it because her husband is associated with BlackRock? Is that what it is? Right? They just felt like they just could play her. Like, yeah, I don't know. Retire Kamala. You can always find somebody else with a Jewish mate. Like, if that's just the thing, that you just need somebody aside that, you can always do that, right? You can always do that. But Kamala doesn't have to be that person. All right, you guys. You guys, make sure it wasn't. I'm not sure what that. Kamala still owed 2.5 million. How did she owe 2.5 million? I thought she was only. Oh, okay. So wait, 2.5 million. So they were able to bring that 20 million down to 2.5 million. So somebody was fundraising to get her little balance down. It seems if she's only still owing 2.5 million, and the reports were that she was owing up to, oh, she is in debt. She is in debt. Okay. But is it 20 million in debt, or is it the 2.5 million? Were they able to swindle some more people into giving her money to bring that campaign debt down? In the broad scheme of elite people, $20 million ain't shit. Let's just tell the truth. To regular folks, it's something. But listen to Josh Hawley talk about I am not a wealthy man. And you look at Josh Hawley's net worth, and he's $21 million richer than the average man. So in the broad scheme of elite people, $20 million ain't shit. They could probably recoup that in a couple of months, in a couple of weeks, actually. She was the least liked VP in modern history. She was the first to drop out of the primary when she ran. She had plenty of public time to be like, I agree. That's one thing I do agree with, BB, because the Democrats her campaign team are selling like, we needed to reintroduce her. And really, that really wasn't what it was. Kamala Harris has been in the Senate. She has run for president before. She's the sitting VP. You didn't have to reintroduce that woman. We really needed to kind of just see her organically, and we weren't able to do that because her campaign team puppeted her the entire damn way, and it was sad. You said she screwed over Sanders. What did I just hear about Bernie Sanders? Is he kind of floating over to the Trump side? I think a lot of these career Democrats are like, we got to preserve our career. So I feel like some of them are flipping for self-preservation. Let's see. Okay, $20 million. Cool. How did she screw over Bernie Sanders? I'm curious. I don't follow Democrat infightings like that, but I'm just curious to see how Kamala Harris screwed over Bernie Sanders. Was he supposed to be like an alternative nominee to Biden, and they just played the Kamala card? I would love to understand that more. But anyways, you all, if you're a person with integrity, if you're a person with scruples and morality, you'll understand where I'm coming from when I say that parents, your love for your children, it definitely, it never stops. But when your children get to the point of being sadistic, disappointing, drug addict, drug infused, you always help them out, right? But when they start breaking the law, because drug addiction, to me, that's like a medical mental condition, right? Being out on the block, being a part of boards and in different little money laundering schemes, right? That's not the same thing. And I hate when people try to conflate, oh, he was dealing with drug problems and that's why he could strategically money launder and coordinate with people overseas. Like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? Like, is there no accountability left in this world? Right? We just gonna make excuses for even the drug addicts. My thing is, you even if you're a drug addict, your drug addiction ain't that bad if you out here scheming. If you out here scheming and cutting deals all over the place, you ain't no you still able to scheme. You ain't somebody just out there on heroin. You ain't none of them people in California. You're not one of those folks out there in Washington and California in those blocks of homeless blocks and camps, just shot up and just out there, right? If you out there scheming, your drug addiction is not an excuse. It's not an excuse. People always like to put like excuses on people who have drug problems and even mental health issues. It's not an excuse to go out there screwing other people around, hurting other people. Your job is to reconcile those problems. Your job is to reconcile those problems, or you should not be a member of society. If you are somebody running around mentally ill with drug problems that you can't check enough not to harm other people or not to break the laws. But if your daddy is Joe Biden, you can break the laws and do all that stuff because they don't really apply to you. So, must be nice to be Hunter Biden. Do you guys not agree? It must be nice to be him. You'll never have to be accountable in your life. You can just be a pathetic, grown ass adult enabled by your daddy until he dies. Anyways, you guys, problem with withdrawal problems now is certain states and cities enable drug use. Oh yeah, Democratic states love for their population to be on drugs because it helps them to be desensitized from all the dumb fuckery that they're actually doing to them economically, right? They love for their constituents and all those people to be just inebriated, it seems. That's their way of distracting their bases. Let's just make them all drug addicts. Then they'll be distracted by all the BS that we're doing to this nation. And they'll believe everything that we say. So, yeah. You guys have a wonderful, you said Kensington, Philadelphia, for example. I don't know anything about Kensington, Philadelphia. Is that like one of those California homeless camps, drug infested areas where the Catholic Church is enabling, handing out syringes? I was actually talking to one of my partners who lives out in Washington, and she said that it's absolutely true that these churches and a lot of these people are giving them drug kits, helping. She said that there is a place, I ain't going to say its name, but it is a church, and they actually give drug injections. They call it a safe way to do it, right? Where you can actually, like, you're doing a confessional, you just stick your arm through the thing, they'll shoot you up, and then you go. And that was very shocking to me to hear something like that. I'm like, how is this being enabled by the government? How is this being enabled by a so-called religious institution? Shame on you, apostates. You will burn, you will burn, you will burn, and you will deserve it. I tell you, nothing, just excites my fantasies like thinking about pedophiles and apostates burning alive at God's power. It just really excites me. I look forward to Judgment Day so much, just so I could be privy to seeing those people. I pray to God, like, look, I don't want to be destroyed on Judgment Day. I don't want to be raptured up anywhere. I literally want to be just like a spirit upon the earth as you are setting aflame pedophiles and those kinds of people, you know? I look forward to Judgment Day. I don't know why people are so afraid of it, right? Just let it all burn. These people are wicked. But here I am with my spirit of Jonah. So I pray. I ask God, like, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? But then I thought, well, I was a prodigal daughter. I was in this world. And if God would have destroyed the, world like even just 10 years ago, I would be destroyed. I had no repentance, right? I was just doing my own thing, right? But, so I understand what God is doing, right? Giving people more time to get out of Satan's world, divorce these demonic ideologies, get a little bit more ethics and morality and integrity in your soul, align yourself with the spirit. I think that there's still people out there who are starving for God's spirit. I really do. And they just got to get to know him. So do your job, disciples. Do your job, right? And teach these people, right? Right? And I'm talking about the real disciples, not some of these apostate institution people, but do your job because you know the time is short. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. I see you, Chaotic Beauty. You have a wonderful day. How can I help you? I don't need your help, honey. You're a digital marketer. I probably will run circles around your strategy because I probably am a rock star marketer, if I so desire. So thank you, but no thank you. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.